Wednesday night, Jake came home at 11 p.m. smelling like hotel soap. "Client dinner ran late," he said, kissing my cheek. "You know how it is." I was in bed with my laptop pretending to work. "Of course. How'd it go?" "Great. Sealed another follow-up deal." "I'm on fire this week." He was on fire, all right. Just not the way he thought. He got in the shower. I tracked his location on Find My Friends. The pin had been at the boutique hotel for 3 hours. When he came back to bed, he wrapped his arms around me, pulled me close. "I'm so glad we're doing this together," he said. "Saturday's going to be amazing. You and me. A team." I lay there in the dark, his arms around me, and counted ceiling tiles. 1, 2, 3. Breathe. I almost said it. Almost turned around and told him I knew everything. That he was a liar and a cheat and a thief. But I did in single quotes T. because if I confronted him now, alone in our bedroom, he'd spin it. Make me the crazy girlfriend. Gaslight me into doubting what I saw. No. He needed to be exposed. Publicly. With evidence. With no room for interpretation. Thursday morning, I barely slept. I got up at 5 a.m. and went for a run, just to burn off the energy. My mind was racing through every possible scenario. What if he denied it? What if people didn't believe me? What if this backfired? But then I remembered, the data doesn't lie. The timestamps don't lie. The screenshots don't lie. And I had all of it. At work, I finalized my presentation. 17 slides. Clean, professional. Devastating. Then I went to see Robert, our CEO. I'd worked with Robert on 3 major projects over my 8 years. He was fair. No nonsense. He valued results. I showed him everything. The plagiarized slides. The expense fraud. The text messages. He sat back in his chair, face unreadable. "Why didn't you come to me sooner?" "Because I just found out Wednesday night. And I needed to make sure I wasn't being emotional. I needed the data." He studied me. "If you do this publicly tomorrow night, it's going to cause chaos. I know. Jake will be humiliated. His career will be over. Melissa will probably lose her job. I understand." Silence. Then, "The contribution analysis is solid. The expense reports are damning. The relationship with his subordinate is a massive liability." He paused. "If you want to back out, I'll handle this privately. HR. Quiet termination." "You don't have to." "No," I said. "I want to do this." "Why?" I met his eyes. Because 6 months ago, if someone had asked me to choose between my career and my relationship, I would have said my relationship. But Jake's been choosing his career over our relationship this whole time. He stole my work. He lied to my face. He's been sleeping with someone he supervises while I carried this pitch on my back. I paused. So yeah, maybe it started as revenge. But he doesn't deserve that VP promotion. And I'm not going to stand on that rooftop tomorrow and smile while he takes credit for work I did. Robert nodded slowly. "Okay, you can present tomorrow. But understand this won't be clean. There will be fallout. I'm ready." He stood. Extended his hand. "For what it's worth, the data supports you. And that takes guts." I shook his hand and left his office. My hands were shaking again. But this time it felt different. Not fear. Power. Friday night was the worst. Jake came home early. Brought flowers. Made dinner. "I wanted us to have a nice quiet night before the big party tomorrow," he said. Uncorking wine. We sat at our dining table, the one we picked out together at West Elm 3 years ago, and he told me how much he loved me. How proud he was of us. How this was just the beginning. I wanted to throw my wine in his face. Instead, I smiled, nodded, pretended. After dinner, he went to take a shower. I sat alone at the table, staring at my wine glass. My phone buzzed. Text from Marcus, VP of Sales. Jake's soon-to-be peer. "Hey, Robert mentioned you're speaking tomorrow. Just wanted to say thanks for celebrating the team effort." "It's classy." I almost laughed. Classy. Right. I typed back, "Just want to make sure credit goes where it's deserved." Asterisk, he responded with a thumbs up. If only he knew. That night I couldn't sleep. Jake was passed out next to me, completely at peace. While I lay there staring at the ceiling. Tomorrow night, I was going to blow up his entire life. Our entire life. Part of me felt guilty. The part that had loved him for 6 years. The part that remembered our first kiss, our first apartment, the way he used to make me laugh. But then I thought about Melissa. About she never questions it. About him knowing for 3 weeks that my promotion was smaller than his. About him stealing my work and calling it leadership. The guilt disappeared. I got up, went to the bathroom, and looked at my presentation one more time. Slide 1, timeline of the pitch. Slide 2, contribution breakdown. Slide 3, plagiarized. Slides comparison. Slide 4, expense reports. Slide 5, text. Messages simple, clean, factual. Tomorrow, everyone would know the truth. And Jake? Jake would finally face consequences. I closed my laptop and went back to bed. Tomorrow. Asterisk. Saturday morning arrived cold and clear. Jake woke up excited. Practically bouncing around the apartment. He made us breakfast, eggs and toast, his specialty. Kept talking about the party. About our future. About how proud his parents would be. I nodded along, pushing eggs around my plate. You okay? He asked. You seem quiet. Just nervous, I said. Which wasn't a lie. Don't be. We earned this. Both of us. I looked at him across our breakfast table. The man I'd built a life with. The man I'd trusted completely. You're right, I said. We earned this. He smiled, leaned over and kissed me. I love you. I didn't say it back. He didn't notice. The rest of the day crawled by. I got ready slowly. Picked a dress, navy blue, professional but powerful. Did my makeup carefully. Hair perfect. Jake kept checking his phone. Smiling at texts he didn't show me. Probably Melissa. At 6:30, we left for the Meridian. The party started at 7. Jake held my hand in the Uber. This is it, babe. The beginning of everything? I squeezed his hand. Yeah, everything's about to change. He had no idea. The Meridian rooftop was gorgeous. String lights everywhere. City skyline in the background. Champagne flowing. Everyone dressed up, laughing, celebrating. Jake worked the room immediately. Shaking hands. Accepting congratulations. Playing the part of the rising star. Melissa stood across the space, wearing a black dress. Professional. Pretty. Young. Our eyes met once. She smiled awkwardly and looked away. I wondered if she knew. If Jake had warned her. If she was nervous too. I hoped she was. At 7:30, Robert took the microphone. The crowd quieted. Thank you all for being here. We're celebrating not just a massive client win, but the incredible people who made it happen. Applause. I saw Jake straighten his tie. Ready for his moment. Tonight, we're announcing 2 major promotions. But first, Robert looked right at me. I'd like to invite our director of product management to share a few words about how we landed this account. Jake's face showed surprise, but not alarm. He thought I was setting him up, making him look good. I walked to the microphone. My hands were steady. The presentation screen lowered behind me. Thank you all for being here, I started. My voice didn't shake. 8 months ago, we started pursuing the biggest account in our company's history. Tonight, I want to walk you through exactly how we won it. I clicked to the first slide. A timeline of every major milestone. This process required contributions from sales, product design, and analytics. A real team effort. Nods from the crowd. So far, so normal. Click. Next slide. This breakdown shows who created what. Based on shared drive version history, email timestamps, and collaboration logs. The room got quieter. People leaning in. The pie chart showed my name at 68%. Other team members at 24%. Jake at 8%. I heard someone whisper, "Wait, what?" To be clear, everyone played a role. But I think accuracy matters. especially when we're talking about promotions and leadership. I looked at Jake. His face had gone pale. Click. Next slide. The plagiarized slides. Side by side. Dates stamped. These 3 slides were particularly effective in our final presentation. They're actually from a pitch I developed 4 years ago. The strategic framework is identical. The room was dead silent now. I'm not saying this to call anyone out. I just want to make sure credit is properly attributed. Melissa had her hand over her mouth. Next slide. Expense reports. Hotel charges. Uber receipts. Interestingly, over the last 6 months, several of our team dinners happened at this hotel restaurant. According to our CRM, we didn't meet with the client on any of these dates. I looked directly at Jake. Can you clarify what business purpose these dinners served? His mouth opened, closed. There were networking opportunities with Melissa? I kept my voice calm. Because her expense reports match yours. Every single date. Every single location. Marcus stepped forward, but I wasn't done. Final slide. The text messages. I didn't show the photos. I'm not cruel, but I showed enough. Asterisk. Can't wait for Saturday. Just us this time. Asterisk. Your girlfriend's going to wonder where you were. Asterisk. Told her I had drinks with the sales team. She never questions it. Asterisk. Timestamp. Wednesday. 3 days ago. These messages are from Jake to Melissa. They represent a 6-month affair that happened while I was working 70-hour weeks to close this account. The crowd erupted. Everyone talking at once. I clicked off the presentation. Screen went dark. I'm sharing this because leadership matters. Integrity matters. And the people we promote should actually deserve it. I handed the microphone back to Robert and walked straight to the bar. My hands were shaking now. But I felt lighter than I had in days. Behind me, Jake was trying to leave, but Marcus blocked his path. Melissa was crying. Angela from HR was already on her phone. I ordered a vodka, soda, and didn't look back. What happened next unfolded fast. Jake found me at the bar 10 minutes later. His face was red, eyes wild, sweat on his forehead. What the fuck was that? He grabbed my arm. Hard. I pulled away. That was the truth. You should try it sometime. You just destroyed my career. In front of everyone. Over what? Some text messages. Over plagiarism. Expense fraud. Sleeping with your subordinate. Take your pick. People were watching us now. Jake lowered his voice, but the anger was still there. We can fix this. We can talk to Robert. Explain what? That you stole my work? That you've been lying for 6 months? That you knew you were getting VP while I was getting director and you said nothing? His face went even paler. How did you? The email in your desk drawer. 3 weeks ago. You knew. The whole time we were celebrating together, you knew your promotion was bigger than mine. That's not. I was going to tell you. When, Jake? After the party? After you accepted the title built on my work? Marcus appeared beside us. 2 security guards with him. Jake, we need you to come with us. Now. Jake turned on him, desperate. Marcus, this is insane. She's lying. She's just jealous. We pulled the files. We checked the expense reports. We verified everything. Marcus's voice was cold. You're done. Pack your desk Monday. Security will escort you. Jake's eyes went wild. He looked at me like I was a stranger. You vindictive bitch. I loved you. We were building a life. No, I said quietly. I was building a life. You were just using me while you figured out your next move. Security started walking him toward the exit. The entire rooftop was watching as they led him away. He turned back one more time. You're going to regret this. I took a sip of my drink. I really don't think I will. After they took Jake away, I stood there at the bar, trying to process what had just happened. I'd done it. I'd actually done it. My phone buzzed. Text from Angela.
CEO's office.
5 minutes. I downed my vodka and headed inside. Robert was there, Angela, Marcus, and 2 board members I recognized but had never spoken to. Sit, Robert said. I sat. That was... He paused. Brave, reckless, and completely justified. We've terminated Jake effective immediately, Angela added. The expense fraud alone is grounds for dismissal.
The relationship with Melissa violates our workplace conduct policy.
The plagiarism is just... She didn't finish? And Melissa? I asked. She's being reassigned. New department. Away from sales. But since she was the subordinate in the relationship, we're giving her a chance. I nodded. That felt fair. She was 24. Jake was 32 with power over her career. He'd probably told her all the same lies. There's something else, Robert said. He slid a folder across the desk. I opened it. VP of Product Management. My name.
Effective immediately. Wait, what?
Jake's gone. We need a VP of Product. You've been doing the work anyway. The board reviewed your presentation, your track record, your contribution analysis. One of the board members spoke up. Frankly, we should have promoted you months ago.
This is overdue.
I stared at the paperwork. VP of Product. $4K salary increase. Jake's level. Better than Jake's level. The position is yours if you want it, Robert said. I looked up at him. All of them. I want it. Good. Robert stood. Extended his hand. Congratulations. You earned it. I shook his hand. Then Angela's. Then Marcus's. When I walked back out to the rooftop, the party was still going. People were talking in clusters. Some looked at me with respect. Others with fear. I didn't care. I'd just taken down a liar, exposed a fraud, and landed the promotion I deserved. A few people approached to congratulate me. Others kept their distance. I finished my drink and called an Uber. On the way home, I looked out at the city lights and felt something I hadn't felt in days. The next 3 months were a blur. Jake tried calling, texting, showing up at the apartment. I had the locks changed and blocked his number. He could get his stuff through a friend. He couldn't find a new job. Turns out when you're fired for expense fraud and sleeping with your subordinate, references are hard to come by. Marcus told me Jake was applying to companies in other cities. No luck. I didn't feel bad. Melissa left the company 2 months later.
I heard she got a better job at a competitor.
Good for her. She'd learned an expensive lesson about workplace relationships. Me. I threw myself into the VP role. New office. New team. Real authority. And you know what? When you're not spending emotional energy managing a lying boyfriend's ego, you have so much more bandwidth for actual work. I restructured our product strategy. Launched 2 new features. Started building relationships with our biggest clients directly. 3 weeks after the party, I ran into Marcus at the coffee shop near our office. Hey, he said. How's the new role? Intense. But good. You're doing great. The team loves you. He paused. Listen, I wanted to say what you did took guts. A lot of people wouldn't have had the courage. Or the rage, I said. He laughed. That too. For what it's worth, Jake's still unemployed. Can't get past the background checks. Part of me waited to feel guilty. To feel like maybe I'd gone too far. But IDN single quotes Jake had stolen my work. Lied for 6 months. Celebrated a promotion he knew was bigger than mine while I was still sacrificing everything. He'd made his choices.
I just made sure there were consequences.
That's unfortunate, I said.
Meaning, not my problem. 2 months in, I got an email from the client. The $3 million account we'd landed. They wanted to expand.
Another $5 million deal. But they had one condition. They wanted to work directly with me. We heard about the transition, their CEO wrote. We're glad the person who actually ran the pitch is now leading the account. Let's set up a meeting. I scheduled the meeting. Flew out the next week. Closed the deal. $8 million total.
The biggest account in company history. And it was mine. All mine. 3 months after the party, I was having drinks with my team when someone asked how I was doing post-breakup. Honestly? I said, I've never been better. And I meant it. I was dating again. Nothing serious yet, but I'd gone on a few dates with a guy named David who worked in finance. He was funny, asked good questions, didn't love bomb me or make grand promises. It was refreshing. I'd also started therapy. Working through the betrayal, the anger, the trust issues. My therapist asked me once if I regretted how I handled things. Do you wish you'd confronted him privately instead? I thought about it. Really thought. No, I said finally. Because this wasn't just about Jake cheating. It was about 6 years of my work being attributed to him. It was about every woman who's been told she's too emotional when she stands up for herself. It was about making sure the people who actually do the work get credit for it. My therapist nodded. And how does it feel now? 3 months later? Powerful, I admitted. Like I finally chose myself. Good, she said. Keep choosing yourself. # final reflection and empowerment.
27点到30点6 900到8 000 words.
So that's my story. The story of how I found out my boyfriend was cheating, stealing my work,
and planning to celebrate a bigger promotion,
while letting me think we were equals. And how I decided
I wasn't going to smile through it anymore. People ask me sometimes if I regret how I handled it.
If I wish I'd done it differently.
If I think I was too harsh. The answer is no. Could I have confronted Jake privately?
Sure. Could I have gone to HR quietly? Maybe. Could I have just quit and started over somewhere else? Absolutely. But none of those options felt right. Because this wasn't just about
Jake. It was about a pattern I'd been enabling for 6 years. Taking the back seat. Doing the work while he took the credit. Believing him when he said we were a team even as he built his career on my labor. I was done being invisible. The truth is, women are taught from childhood to be nice. To smooth things over. To protect other people's feelings even when they're destroying.
Yes, we're told that standing up for ourselves makes us
difficult. That wanting credit
for our work makes us aggressive. That exposing bad behavior makes us
vindictive.
But here's what I learned. I'd rather be vindictive than invisible. I'd rather be difficult than erased. I'd rather have the courage to burn it down than spend another 6 years pretending everything's fine. Jake made his choices. He chose to lie,
to steal, to cheat.
And he did it because he thought I'd never find out. Or if I did, he thought I'd protect him.
Keep his secrets.
Make it easy for him. He was wrong. And yeah, his life got harder. He lost his job,
his girlfriend, his reputation, his future at that company. But those were consequences.
Not punishments. There's a difference. I didn't destroy Jake's career.
His own actions did.
I just made sure people knew about them. So if you're out there in a relationship where something feels off, trust yourself. You're not crazy.
You're not paranoid.
Your body knows before your brain catches up. And if you find proof,
don't let anyone convince you that exposing the truth is worse than the lie itself. It's not. The truth might hurt. It might cost you people you thought were yours forever. But it also sets you free. And freedom. Real freedom is worth everything. 4 months after the party, I got a LinkedIn message from Melissa. Asterisk. I know this is random, but I wanted to thank you. Getting reassigned was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'm at a new company now doing actual work, and I learned that I don't need to sleep with my boss to get promoted. So, thank you for showing me what self-respect looks like.
Asterisk. I read it twice. Then typed back. Asterisk. I'm glad you're doing well.
We both deserved better than what he was offering. Asterisk. She responded with a heart emoji. I smiled and closed LinkedIn. 2 weeks later,
I ran into Jake's friend from sales at a networking event.
Hey, he said carefully.
I heard about Jake. That was intense.
Yeah. He's been having a rough time. Can't find work.
His parents are helping with rent.
I sipped my wine. Stayed quiet. Do you ever feel bad? I mean, his whole life kind of imploded. I looked at him. His life imploded because he committed expense fraud, plagiarized work, and slept with his subordinate. Not because I told people about it. Right, but nothing. He had 6 months to come clean. He chose not to. That's on him. He nodded slowly. Changed the subject. I finished my wine and excused myself. Because here's the thing. I don't owe Jake or anyone else my guilt. I don't have to carry shame for his choices. He built his life on lies. I just made sure it couldn't stand. 6 months after the party, my company had its annual awards ceremony. I won Leader of the Year. I stood on that stage, holding my award, looking out at 300 people, and thought about the night I'd stood on that rooftop with my presentation. Both terrifying. Both transformative. But this time I was being celebrated for my actual work. My real contributions. My leadership. Not someone else's version of me. During my acceptance speech, I kept it simple. Thank you. This award belongs to my team, who show up every day and do incredible work. And to anyone out there who's ever felt invisible, keep pushing. Keep fighting for credit. Keep demanding what you deserve. You're worth it. The applause was loud, genuine. After the ceremony, Robert pulled me aside. That speech was perfect. And for what it's worth, you made the right call 6 months ago. The company is better for it. Thank you. We're better because we have you leading product. Not because we got rid of Jake, because we elevated the person who was actually doing the work all along. I felt tears prick my eyes. Blink them back. I appreciate that. He smiled. Keep doing what you're doing. That night, I went home to my apartment, just mine now. Lease in my name, decorated how I wanted it, and I poured myself a glass of wine. Stood on my balcony looking out at the city and thought about everything that had changed in 6 months. Single. VP. Respected. Free. Was I lonely sometimes? Yeah. Did I have moments where I missed the idea of what Jake and I could have been? Sure, but I didn't miss the lying. The wondering. The carrying someone else's weight while they took all the credit. I didn't miss being half of a team where I was doing 70% of the work. I liked being whole. Just me. My phone buzzed. Text from David, the guy I'd been seeing. Dinner Friday? There's a new Italian place I want to try. I smiled and typed back. Sounds perfect. No games. No lies. No wondering if he was texting someone else. Just simple. Easy. Honest. It was nice. 7 months after the party. I was in a board meeting presenting our annual strategy when one of the board members said something that stuck with me. You know what I appreciate about your leadership? You don't take shortcuts. You do the work. You earn the results. That's rare. I thought about Jake, about his plagiarized slides, his stolen credit, his shortcuts. I learned the hard way that shortcuts catch up with you eventually, I said. I'd rather do it right. The board member nodded. Smart. After the meeting, I sat in my office and thought about that conversation. I built something real here. Not on lies or manipulation or using other people, on actual work. Actual results. Actual leadership. And it felt good. Better than any promotion. Jake could have stolen, because this one was mine. # ending. Triumph and wisdom. 29点到30点 7 800到8 000 words. So here's where I am now, 8 months later. I'm a VP at a company I love. I lead a team that respects me. I'm dating someone who treats me like an equal. I'm building a life that's actually mine, not perfect, but real. And sometimes, late at night when I can't sleep, I think about that moment in the bathroom when I found the text. The choice I made to gather evidence. Instead of confront him immediately, the choice to expose him publicly instead of handling it. Quietly. The choice to burn it all down instead of trying to save it. Were they the right choices? I don't know. Maybe there is no right when you're betrayed that deeply, but they were my choices. And I own them. Because here's what I learned through all of this.
Sometimes the right thing to do is also the hardest thing. Sometimes standing up for yourself means destroying everything you built together. Sometimes you have to choose between being liked and being respected. I chose respect. I chose truth. I chose myself. And yeah, it cost me a relationship. But that relationship was already over the moment Jake decided to lie. I just made it official. The other thing I learned? Women are so much stronger than we're taught to believe. We're taught to forgive, to understand, to give second chances, to protect other people's reputations even when they're destroying ours. But we're also capable of cold, calculated justice when pushed too far. And there's power in that. Not revenge. Justice, there's a difference. Revenge is about making someone hurt because you're hurting. Justice is about making sure actions have consequences. I didn't destroy Jake to hurt him. I exposed him so he couldn't do it to someone else. So the next woman wouldn't waste 6 years of her life on a man who saw her as a stepping stone. So the next employee wouldn't have their work stolen and their trust violated. That's not vindictive. That's self-preservation. That's protection, and I'm not sorry for it. So if you're reading this or listening to this, wherever you are and you're in a situation where something feels wrong, trust yourself. Your gut is smarter than you think. Your body knows before your brain catches up. That feeling in your stomach. That voice in your head saying something's off. Listen to it. And if you find proof, if you discover the texts, the emails, the lies, don't let anyone convince you that exposing the truth makes you the villain. The person who lied is the villain. You're just the one brave enough to say it out loud. Will it be hard? Yes. Will people judge you? Probably. Will you lose things you thought were permanent? Maybe. But you'll also gain something more valuable. Yourself. The version of you that doesn't accept lies. The version that demands respect. The version that refused to be invisible. And that version? She's worth everything. I know because I found her. On a rooftop in front of 200 people with a presentation full of evidence and a heart full of rage and a decision to choose myself over comfort. And I've never looked back. So here's my advice. After 8 months of therapy and reflection and building a life that's actually mine, choose yourself. Even when it's hard. Even when it costs you everything. Even when people tell you you're being too harsh or too cold. Or too vindictive. Choose truth over comfort. Choose respect over being liked. Choose freedom over familiar lies, because, at the end of the day, the only person you have to live with is you, and you deserve better than someone who makes you question your worth. You deserve the truth, even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. Because the truth is what sets you free to build something real. I'm living proof, VP of product, single, thriving, free, and I wouldn't change a thing. If this story hit home, drop a comment. Have you ever had to choose between protecting someone's feelings and protecting yourself? What did you do? And remember, you're not vindictive for demanding consequences. You're not difficult for standing up for yourself. You're not aggressive for wanting credit for your work. You're just done accepting less than you deserve. And that's not a flaw. That's power. Asterisk. I'd rather be vindictive than invisible. And I'm done being invisible. Asterisk.